I appreciate about the practice of yoga is it's given me access to defining who I am. And through these practices, I've been able to gather and gain invaluable insights. And where I was hindered more than anything, it felt like to me, was vulnerability. I just had no access to it. It was such a blinding experience for me, and something that I knew, and it really felt like that I knew I had to move into that experience. And of course it was of deep concern, but what I appreciated about the practices, it gave me this framework in which to work with and sort myself out and create an atmosphere of not only encouragement, but also nurturing, where I could nurture myself along into deeper levels of vulnerability. One of the experiences I can remember, and I can remember it so vividly, was I was sitting in my car in my hometown, and I was at an intersection by myself at the stop sign. And what I started to realize was the choices I was making were poor and placing me in stupid positions. And it seemed to me the proposition that was unfolding in front of me was, if I stayed where I was, that it was quite likely that I was going to be in prison for a long time, or quite likely killed. And it really, really felt like that to me. Or the other proposition was gathering myself together and moving myself out of the environment that I was in, and move environments, like move out of what I knew and move towns and so on and so forth. And it was such a striking realization that I started to notice how both options, both decisions were so terrifying. Staying with what I knew and making stupid and poor decisions that was leading me down a pathway of probably destruction is really what it felt like to me, or sacrificing what I knew and moving into a place that I didn't know. And as I unpacked this issue sitting in my car, as weird as this is, at a stop sign, I realized that I was more concerned and terrified of staying with what I knew versus moving myself along into a different environment. And that's the decision I made, was to move, to turn right, and to move myself out of what I knew, and to start to redesigning, redeveloping, and creating new ways of ultimately living. And using the fear of what I knew to motivate myself further away from what I knew. And so I could experience new experiences ultimately, and recreate myself, and start to redefine who I knew myself to be. And so with the power of the yoga practice, it's really given me this framework in which to grapple with these real life issues and to attempt to make sense of them. And what I so appreciate about the practice of yoga, it's given me community, and so therefore it's given me access to relationship. And something I wasn't necessarily able to be with was in relationship. And so it's given me this opportunity to be seen. It's also given me an opportunity to practice having a voice in my community, having a voice in the world, to define my purposes, to work myself deeper into my purposes, and to live a much more meaningful life. And I have great, great appreciation for the lineage of yoga practices and systems that it offers. And it's really from this place I teach with deep respect.